Hello there, so I'm legitimately loving The Bad Batch so far this season. As someone who liked Season 1, loved Season 2, I am adoring Season 3 so far. We're a third into it now, and I've really liked this sort of opening arc. Let's call it like the reunion arc. You can watch my video on the first 4 episodes here. Obviously, this being one episode, it's going to be a lot shorter of a video. Royce Hemlock continues to be that quiet, menacing figure, sort of working behind the scenes. This is the first time, however, I've noticed that he clutches his hand. One of his hands is gloved and it looks like it gives him a bit of pain. I do wonder if Hemlock got into cloning to want to maybe replace like a damaged hand or like some sort of degenerative disease that he might have, because he didn't want to have a prosthetic or something like that. Might be nothing in this at all. I was just trying to think of something because it was the first time I'd noticed this. Nala Se is not long for this world. I think it's only a matter of time before she bites the dust. I am legitimately surprised she hasn't been done away with sooner. I do wonder if we'll get more from her here, or if Hemlock will just try and use her as a bargaining chip to try and appeal to that caring nature that Omega has. It'll be interesting to see if she has any meaningful part to play going forward. I'm not entirely sure though. I'm not sure of the card game that Omega plays in this episode either. It didn't look like Sabacc to me, but I could be wrong. So if anyone knows what this game was, please let me know because I'm really curious. Harry Lloyd, who you'll know as Viserys Targaryen from Season 1 of Game of Thrones, was the voice of Captain Man, the gambling Imperial, and I really liked this guy. I just liked his voice. It was just that sleazy, gluttonous vibe, and it matched really well with like the portly character model of this Imperial officer. I just really enjoyed him for a one-off character, and he met a pretty grisly fate at the end at the hands of, I'm pretty sure, a Rathtar, the creatures that we see in The Force Awakens. Now, I'm pretty bad at creatures in the Star Wars universe, so I can't really tell you much of what's running and flying around here, but I did hear, and I'm pretty sure I saw a Porg in there, so that's kind of fun. I like the Porgs. I really enjoyed the dynamic between Omega and Crosshair in this episode because these two have not interacted much at all in the previous 2 seasons, so it was nice to see a different pairing take place here, especially as they are just the polar opposites of each other, both in personalities and how they want to tackle different situations. That was a lot of fun, but it was the reunion at the end of the episode that was just so nice. It was that happy moment before everything goes to hell in the remainder of the season. Seeing Wrecker so happy to see Omega again, Omega's face like welling up when she sees Wrecker and Hunter. I really liked that. That was just a great moment to watch. Found family is such a big thing in the Star Wars universe, and I think The Bad Batch does it really, really well. Holy hell though, do I just want to see the next episode now to see this reunion between Hunter, Wrecker, and Crosshair. It was just a great way to end the episode with them just staring at each other. This season has been great so far. I am honestly having a blast. And I do really like that each episode so far has felt very meaningful. I like that it's been... I don't want to say dark and gritty, because people always say dark and gritty, and I say it too to describe things, and it feels overused, but it's felt more serious. The tone has been a little bit more heavy, you know. There hasn't been as many moments of levity in these first 4 episodes as there have been in previous seasons, and that's something I'm really liking. I feel like the show is sort of growing up with Omega as like she gets older and goes through all these adventures, and I really like that. I like that it's taken on that more serious tone. I think the word filler, again, is something else that's overused, and I certainly use it all the time as well, but I've seen people dismiss like episode 2 as filler, and I think people will probably call this one filler as well, but in my opinion, you've got to realize that in these kinds of episodes, you can really lay the groundwork for character and world building. Like in episode 2, we learned a lot about how like the Empire was doing biological weapon experiments, like with the Slithervines, like some sort of Star Wars version of the Umbrella from Resident Evil, or how the Empire is just willing to abandon clone cadets to their fate on a planet. Or in this episode, we get that reluctance and that cynicism from Crosshair, and the optimism and that ever-caring nature from Omega. It really helps to fill out the characters and the world in which they inhabit, and I like these kinds of episodes for that reason, because in my opinion it makes the more plot-driven episodes, the ones that drive that overarching story forward, it makes those richer because we know these characters now, we know the world they inhabit, we know what the stakes are, and I don't know, it just feels richer because of those filler episodes. That's just my opinion anyway, so it's why I don't really have a problem with these kinds of episodes, even though a lot of other people do. Bad Batch Season 3 though, loving the ride so far. Can't wait for next week. I honestly like this episode a lot, and also shout out to Batcher. She's a good girl. Anyway, make sure you follow me here and on TikTok for more Star Wars stuff. I love talking about Star Wars. It's my favorite thing in the world. See you next week for more Bad Batch, and may the Force be with you. Always.